Hey everyone, Temporal here, and while usually we do Overwatch coaching on this channel, for this one we are going to do an Ask Temporal. Ask Temporal are the segments where we cover more general questions, sometimes Overwatch related, sometimes not. And this one in particular was inspired by a thread that we can see pulled up on my screen here on Overwatch University, and that's about someone who wants to put together a team to climb all the way from gold to top 500, and he's talking about how, yeah, let's get people together that are like-minded, let's climb together, let's get all the way from gold to top 500. And I respect the effort, and he's talking about then going pro from there. I should make that clear. He or she has the desire to then go pro. And I want to talk about this because I don't want to just be like, it's a terrible idea, you shouldn't do that, etc. I actually, in general, take quite the opposite stance of organized play is amazing. Anyone who can get into organized play, even in silver, even in bronze, even in gold, maybe not in bronze, silver, gold, whatever, maybe start with gold, but silver, gold, plat, diamond, doesn't matter. When you can get into that organized play, you are going to find it is a much more enjoyable way to play the game, and it is a much more true and correct way to play the game. The game will feel better. The game was very clearly designed to be a game. In fact, originally there wasn't even going to be a solo queue. You were originally only going to be able to queue up as a group of 6 people. So like that's how it was designed. You can see in the way that the game works where individual people don't have solutions to things that you run into and need to solve on the opposing team. Organized play is absolutely amazing, and I strongly recommend anyone that can get involved in it does get involved in it. If you have consistent, 4 hours a week split between 2 days, consistent 6 hours a week split between 3 days or split between 2 days that you can get in to spend with other people to go do scrims, I absolutely recommend that you do that. And if you're too low on the ladder to find scrims, like you're in silver and you can't regularly find scrims, queuing as 6 is going to be okay. It's going to be tough. You're going to get, pushed around a little bit to start things off, and that's okay. But you are then going to work on your strategies, build your stuff up, build correct communication structures, and you are going to get better at the game. And you're going to get better at a piece of the game that A, is more fun, like I've covered, but B, if going pro is one of your goals, is one of your desires, it's a skill that you're going to need to learn. So organized play is great, and I do recommend that people get into it even when they're low on the ladder. But this is where I've got to stop people. So joining a team, playing as a team is good and it's fun, but you have to understand that no one enters Overwatch League as a team. You don't get to get promoted. You can't win contenders and then go join Overwatch League as a team. So let's start from there and work our way backwards. If there's no actual ability to go, yeah, we climbed all the way from the bottom together, we did this, we did everything that we could, and now we're in Overwatch League as a team, you're not runaway. It's not going to happen. Maybe if you go win contenders Korea in the right year, it'll happen. You'll happen to get picked up. But in general, that's not going to happen. There is no promotion. There is no joining Overwatch League as a team. So given that that's the case, if we work our way backwards, we're very quickly going to discover, wait, we can't do that. So since we can't do that, why does it make sense to climb the rest of the ladder together? And the answer is it doesn't. Human beings are very different, and human beings develop and improve at different rates. So what's going to happen if you're part of a team is you're going to discover that, okay, maybe you as the hit scan are developing at this rate, and your main support is developing at this rate, and your flex support is developing at this rate, and your off tank is developing at this rate, and we go through here and you're developing at different rates. So you're going to climb differently. Now that doesn't mean that every 2 weeks you should go, oh, well, I'm better than you guys are now, I need to go find a different team, but it does mean that you need to be pretty quick to pull the trigger on moving. And the reason I say that is that you do not want to be in a situation where you're this guy or this guy who climbed pretty quickly and you can't move up to compete at the next level to run into opponents that are going to test your limits a bit, who are going to show you new things by stopping you from doing things that you used to be able to get away with, and by getting away with things that you didn't even realize were options, because the rest of your team simply isn't at a level where they can keep up. If you really want to go pro, you want to make it to the top, you cannot afford for this to happen, to be in situations where, okay, I'm on this team and I'm still on this team 3 months later, that I've improved a fair bit faster than. You have to be willing to pull the ripcord and go. This is true for players. This is true for coaches. This is true for really anyone. If you find that, hey, I'm improving, I'm moving beyond this team, you have to be willing to rip off the band-aid and go. Again, that doesn't mean you're just jumping between teams every 2 weeks. That's not something that you can do. And you shouldn't like surprise teams with this. This should be a, hey, I'm here to improve. I'm here to get better. We are useful to each other. On a gold team, on a diamond team, on a masters team, on a tier 3 team, you generally aren't getting paid. There's nothing actually holding you together other than, hey, the camaraderie from having gone through some trials together, from having beaten some teams together. So do not let that be the anchor that weighs you down. You do not want to let that be an anchor that weighs your foot down, because it's really easy for that to happen and for a player to get stuck for too long on a team that they've improved beyond, where maybe they're putting in an extra 20 hours a week on ladder to really work on their individual stuff as well as doing the scrims, when other players just aren't. Or even if they're putting in similar amounts of time, again, players just have different improvement rates, and the reality is a very, very small percentage of people are ever going to be able to go pro in this game. So what you're going to want to do is go every, month, 2 months, you're going to evaluate, probably not 2 months, that's too long. Every few weeks you should be evaluating, does this team still make sense for me? And if it doesn't, it's time to start looking for a new one. And that's going to be okay as long as the expectation has properly been set that, hey, we're doing this, we're doing our climb, we're all trying to make it to pro, we're all trying to make it to the next level, we're all trying to do whatever we want to do, we're all dedicated, but we're using each other to climb. We are using each other to climb effectively the way professional teams are using each other to work together. That's, again, not a you can't be friends, you can't like each other, but this is very much a, if you're wanting to do that, you need to understand that there is no, well, I'm just going to wait and, I like our, what did I say, flex support who isn't improving, or I like our, I don't know, flex DPS who isn't improving, so I'm just going to stay and tough it out. You can't do that because it takes so long to go pro in Overwatch. Even if you're very, very good at Overwatch, let's pretend that you are amazing at Overwatch. You're going to find that there's already a bunch of Contenders players right now, today, that are amazing at Overwatch, that have effectively had to put years in there to prove themselves before they got a shot, before they got a trial, before they got a look from Overwatch League. And it took that consistently being at the top or near top level for them to even get the look. Yes, there's players who, were up here, I suppose, above the top. So I suppose that's actually the top and pretty much immediately got swapped up. But there's a lot of players. And if you're down in gold right now, you're not one of these players, and you're very unlikely to become one of these players. You have to do the time. You have to get to a place where you're able to consistently put up wins. Winning Contenders, winning your region's Contenders once is not enough to necessarily guarantee, oh, he's going to get picked up for an Overwatch team. You are going to have consistent high places unless you just look amazing, get really flashy, become a fan favorite, and there's marketing associated with, oh, well, we want this player for that. Anyways, my point is, because it can take so long at this top point here, because you might have to spend so long in Contenders, because you might have to prove for a while, even once you're good enough, being good enough isn't enough. People have to believe. You have to prove that you're good enough. And to do that, it unfortunately will frequently take some time. With that being the case, you need to get up to this point as quickly as possible. You can't be going, oh, well, I'm going to just go like hang out with my team because I want my team to catch up with me. No, you need to get up here as quickly as possible if going pro is your goal, so that you can end up in a situation where you get to then go, okay, I'm in this situation where now I have to spend this time. I've worked with players who were good enough to get into Overwatch League and didn't, because they could only spend 6 months here. They could only spend 3 months here. They could only do 1 or 2 seasons in this Contenders area, and they just couldn't justify the amount of time investment that it continues to take to keep playing in Contenders. It's effectively a full-time job. And investing in this level of Overwatch climbing is a full-time job that you're really not getting paid for. And even in Contenders, you're not really getting paid. You're making pennies. It's a joke. So what you need to understand is, given that you if you down here in gold, and I'm not necessarily talking to this specific post maker, but I sort of am, though we'll talk about them because they're here, you need to understand that you are likely to have to spend long enough in contenders or in tier 3 or in, whatever level you're at to get to the next one to get the shot. To get the shot in Overwatch League, you might have to spend a long time in contenders. To get the shot in contenders, you may unfortunately have to spend a fair amount of time in tier 3 before a team that's in contenders or a coach that is building a really good team to push through and get into contenders is willing to give you a look, because it's not something you can do by yourself, and it's definitely not something that you want to wait for everyone to get up here for. So because it could potentially take you a long amount of time here or here to reach the next goal, and everyone has a finite amount of time on this earth, you do not want to be going, I'm going to spend a ton of time waiting for my team to catch up because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Seriously, don't overinvest in, I'm not going to hurt anyone's feelings. I like my team. I want them to move up with me. It's not going to happen for you. And I guarantee you are underestimating how long you're potentially going to have to spend, even if you're good enough, how long you're potentially going to have to spend in the high tier 3 region, in the contenders region, before you actually get promoted to, or actually have a real chance of getting promoted to the level at which you can make money to justify the hours that you currently spend. Not justify the past hours that you spend, but justify the hours that you're currently spending playing Overwatch in Overwatch League. So that is going to be something I am strongly going to recommend. I know that's not necessarily the most popular advice in the world. Hey, leave your buddies behind, go do this. But if you're looking to climb, if you're on a team, remember that team is a tool that you guys are using with each other to improve. And that's not something to feel bad about. It's not like, oh, people are tools and we're using them for this, etc. No, you are all perfectly happy to go. The reason that we are here is to climb to the next level to get better. And I really, really, really strongly recommend you do get into organized play. It is a way less frustrating, less tilting way to play the game. That doesn't mean you can cut out ladder. You absolutely have to keep laddering if climbing is your goal to when you get into organized play, because individual laddering is where you work on your personal stuff. It's where you learn the heroes that you're weaker on. It's where you polish your mechanics, and it's where you get the work on things that you need to do to improve instead of, say, the comm structure, the ult combos, the game plans that your team needs to work on. Okay, so that's just what I wanted to cover here. I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up, but I will take questions if people have them at this point. Again, our key takeaway should be don't spend too much time on a single team. You should be leapfrogging it up to a degree. You should. You can't just be like, oh, I've been here for 3 days, I'm leaving. I've been here for a week, I'm leaving. But you do want to be evaluating every few weeks. Does this team still make sense, or do I need to be going to the next level? You do need to keep challenging yourself, because even if you're thinking, oh, I've allocated 2 years to myself to get to Overwatch League. That's how much time I'm willing to spend on this, because you can't just spend forever on it. You have to invest too much time that it takes away from other parts of your life. That you just simply won't be making money, or you won't be developing your education. You won't be doing things that help you enough as a human being. You have to set some sort of time limit for this thing. You can't just try forever. And if you can try forever, it's either because you're independently wealthy, or it's because you aren't actually investing the level of time that you will have to, at the very least, once you get up here. Okay. But again, organized play is great. I'm not knocking organized play. Everyone really should get into it. It's a way more fun way to play the game. And the other thing is, if you're just going, hey, I want to get into organized play and I want to stay with my team because this is like a beer league, this is just fun, this is something we do as a friend, as a circle of friends, that's absolutely great. I am in no way knocking on that, and I am not saying, oh, leave all your friends behind, go do this, you're too good for them. You can have a mixed level team. You can have masters and diamonds and a plat all on the same team. Totally fine with me. If you guys are doing it for fun because you enjoy spending time with each other and you don't have aspirations of going pro, getting into contenders, going into Overwatch League, absolutely, you do you. Have a lot of fun with it. You do not need to be leaving your friends behind. I'm just making sure that we're clear on our goals when we go for what we go here. Okay. If you guys are enjoying this type of content, please do like and subscribe. If you are looking to get coaching or questions like these answered, you can join my Discord in the description below. And with that, let's get on to questions. To be honest, I feel like if they struggle for 2 years to climb out of gold, it's not looking good that they could go pro. That's probably true. It's not necessarily true, Dragonfly, but it is probably in the sense of more likely than not true. Well, it's always more likely than not, just from a reality perspective of how few people go pro, how few people are able to go pro. There are people who it sort of clicks on how to learn after some amount of time. Like you do have the people who their first 2 seasons, their first 3 seasons were in gold, were in silver, etc. And remember, these are when seasons were 3 months long, so that could be like 6 or 9 months. And then they did make it up, and they ended up in contenders, things like that. So it's not impossible, Dragonfly, but yeah, that is probably the case. That said, if they're choosing to pursue a dream, if they're choosing to pursue it, if they're trying to do, hey, been in gold for 2 years, want to go pro, if they have made breakthroughs in how they're doing their training and understanding that it's about I stack one habit on top of another, on top of another, on top of another as micro habits, and it doesn't matter if I start to play worse while I'm stacking those habits because they keep making me a little better overall. If they've really put that together when before they were just sort of playing the game for fun, just kind of mindlessly grinding, trying to escape their elo hell, etc., there is a possibility. But yeah, yeah, that's certainly that's not wrong, Dragonfly. So, what coaching option do I need to get my team of average golds and myself to climb to top 500? What coaching option do I need to get my team of average golds and myself to top 500? Well, some of that depends on your team of average golds. Are we allowed to cut and replace your average golds with different average golds? And by that, I mean, like, can we replace them with people of the same skill level that would fit on the team? As the team moves up, can we replace some of them? Like, what I run into here is people are going to, again, improve on different speeds. So, are we able to actually if we were taking a team to the top, are we able to actually replace people as people fall behind? And then the other thing that we'd run into is, are we able to replace people for, hey, they're not motivated enough, they're not doing their homework well enough, etc. I don't mind people plateauing for a bit. Improvement does tend to happen in plateau bursts and plateaus and bursts and plateaus and things like that. Like that does happen, so I don't mind people plateauing a bit, but you would have to have some room to be able to replace people effectively for them not putting in the time, not being serious enough, not effectively learning. But if you're asking me, could I take them there? It depends on the people. Like again, I'm a good coach, but it absolutely depends on the people and their dedication level. The thing that outside sources can't give you is your motivation. So even if I know all the things to tell these people, and I've highlighted the exact best, most perfect, most streamlined route with no resistance to get to the top to make these golds climb faster than anyone else, and I know all the secrets, it doesn't help if those gold players don't have the motivation. And most gold players, especially most people that are gold after 2 years of doing it, don't have the motivation to want to play in the way that is work, which is what you have to do to make an improvement. Yeah, you don't see a specific rate for that in my Discord. Yeah, blah, yeah, blah. Do you feel there's no chance for some people to go pro barring disabilities, or is it only a matter of taking much longer? Um, you're not competing in a vacuum. So, like, there's absolutely the possibility for most people to get to a level that would have been considered pro at one point, but you're not competing in a vacuum. It's like the ladder now where, today's diamond was probably GM on game release. And it's like that where you get into a situation where people can get better, everyone can get better, pretty much everyone can get better, can improve if they really are willing to work in the right ways to do it, but you are competing against other people, and other people are improving too. So I'm very hesitant to say, oh, anyone can do it, because no, there's a limited number of slots. If we grow the attention in the Overwatch scene, there may be more slots, but there's always going to be it's not quite a net zero thing because we can grow the number of slots, but it's not about just improving at Overwatch, it's about improving at Overwatch faster than other people are, if you're really trying to make it into one of those few select spots that gets to play as a pro. Not aspiring to go pro, but felt like someone would like to know. Yep, I get it. 5K gold and WoW money. 5K gold and WoW money isn't worth squat. Uh, we will do whatever Coach Temporal says. I know, Blah, but you're part of the cult of the scarf, so. Uh, We will rely on the scarf for 100% motivating dip. No, no, no. Airfare. Yikes. Yikes. You scared me, Blah. You scared me. Okay. Uh, okay. all, all members will sign a liability waiver, so nothing is ruled out. Okay, looks like that covers that one. I'm gonna try and do a few more of these Ask Temporal type segments because I'm seeing things like that. If you guys are liking them, please do let me know either in the comments or in the Discord. If you're not liking them, let me know that too. Again, like, subscribe, or in this case, maybe dislike, make comments, etc. Thanks, guys. Temporal.